Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We warmly welcome you to Yokoten once again. Hi, Azi. How are you?
Hi, Yasas. Good evening. You
Good
did,
evening.
you forgot to mention what is Yokoten.
Okay. Very important, right? Yeah. So
Yes,
Yokoten is about sharing best practices sharing rather, but we are using Yokoten for best business practice sharing. So,
correct.
Azi, it's good to be back live after we had some recorded sessions from a studio and back to our webinar series which is going live. How have you been?
Absolutely. Yeah. To answer your question, I'm doing good. I had a bit of a productive slash. I think 70% productive and 30% unproductive day to day. Still yet to complete it. Let's say once the day is completed, I'll give you the ratio.
Good. So, Azi, you were asking me what are we going to talk about today, and I kept silent. So,
Yes.
I know you're in the dark
Yes.
today. You're in the dark today. Sorry about it.
Absolutely. Not a
Because
problem.
I just wanted to share some things which I wanted you to like. Generally, I wanted to see your reaction and what you feel about, right? So that's the whole
Sure. Sure.
reason I kept you in the dark. So for the audience, let's tell them what we are going to talk. Yesterday, Google had their Google Cloud Next 25, where they talked
Hmm.
about their latest AI related or Google Cloud related developments, Asi. And I
Hmm.
was kind of really impressed to see what they had, especially on the AI space. And Azi, are you a Gemini user or are you OpenAI or a DeepSeek user?
I am OpenAI and DeepSeek.
Okay.
Majority of my time I spent on OpenAI though.
Okay. So I think you might want to change your decision because the latest, Google Gemini Flash is supposed to be the fastest when you look at all the products, thanks to the chipsets they're using and the technology they're using and the caching mechanisms and so on and so forth. I'm not going to talk technical,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
they showed, if you watch the opening part of it, they showed the numbers and how fast it is and how the LLM or the large language module works. So
Hmm.
maybe you
Hmm.
need to kind of rethink. And the next part you're going to hear of what they talked about the development on AI is really going to change the game, and I'm sure others will follow suit. So, Aziz, what is the
Hmm.
biggest problem from an organization point of view if you want to have AI? What is the biggest problem you think that an organization will face?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question, Yasas. So, in my personal opinion, I would say biggest problem in using AI related to certain, I would say, work processes. Adaptation is one of the biggest challenge when it comes to adaptation. Uh, for us to do anything, AI is there. But how we use AI, the way that we wanted to do it, is a question. That question comes because of the lack of knowledge, I would say. So, answering to your question, Yasas, is the awareness and how to use the AI platforms for us to improve and increase our productivity. In my opinion, that's the biggest
I don't
challenge
know
that
whether
I
it's
foresee.
me, but you got stuck for a moment, Aziz. Can you hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yes. I don't know up to which part you heard me.
Yeah. So basically, you were saying knowledge, right? From an enterprise business, like, okay, definitely knowledge is a gap. And that's why you have so many AI programs out there where you can learn. There are AI academies and there are online academies. So, of course, I think it's time if somebody hasn't really learned it or hasn't looked into what is available there. I think it's high time
Mhm.
everyone goes through that. In fact, if you look at, I'm a big Gemini user, I'm a big Google user, right? Though I explored
Yes. Yes.
GPT, OpenAI, smart LLMs, and though I've looked at AWS and so on and so forth, I've been a big Gemini user. So if you look at even Google, they have their
Mm.
own education in that, and they're even having training programs for educators so they can go back and teach students in schools, high schools,
Mm.
how to
Mm.
use AI. So if you look at an organization, an enterprise, large business, uh, what do you think would limit them or not from the education aspect, but from using AI or adopting AI in the organization. What is the biggest fear they have?
In my opinion, yes, I would think about that question in a different manner. Meaning, like in especially specifically in Sri Lanka, we have generation gaps, and obviously the the youngest generation, I would say, they are more or less into AI technology, and folks like us, in terms of the age, yeah, well, adapting to this AI has a gap, and combining those two generation to utilize the AI is, I would say, a challenge.
I think you froze again, Asit.
Oh man.
Yeah, so definitely age plays a big role. Then adaptation plays a big role, and
Hmm.
one of the biggest things I think we discussed was privacy, right? Because how I
Hmm.
see AI is, you can like stop USB access, you can ask people not to go on social media, you can prevent things, but if you're going to prevent use of AI in your organization, that
Hmm.
is something
Hmm.
that you're going to stifle people from growth, because you cannot stop access of open AI or Gemini or whatever LLM that people are using
Absolutely.
because of this problem. So
Hmm.
one thing I think is data privacy is becoming an issue with AI. How?
Hmm.
Because employees, the moment you give them access, say they want to analyze something, they just copy paste things into whatever AI platform, and that AI platform gets the confidential information of the organization. That's one problem.
Hmm.
And in terms
Yeah.
of cost, because most of the LLMs that are out there are costlier, and when you look at open source LLMs, it's kind of questionable. How are you going to implement it? You need to have a proper platform like either AWS or Google Cloud and so on and so forth. So the most amazing thing I heard yesterday was they are saying we are going to make AI, Google Cloud, available on premise, right? So with
Whoa.
NVIDIA and with partnership with hardware partners, they are going to
Wow.
allow Google AI Gemini to run on premise with the latest
That's
chipset. Obviously,
wow.
it's crazy, right? That's something I
That's
never expected.
crazy.
That's
That's
that's something I
crazy.
thought that won't be possible because you'll always need to connect to the cloud. So
Yeah.
problems like
Yeah.
if you're looking at, for an example, real-time AI to be used in your operation for a large enterprise. If you're doing autonomous things where you need to have latency to be minimal,
Mm.
on-premise is going to be a solution. Now, in Sri Lanka, I don't know how practical it's going to be. It's going to be costly with the taxes and all that. But I believe
Yeah.
this is a great move. It's going to change the game. I mean, remember how difficult it used to be to play games without a gaming laptop, right?
True. True.
And remember how when we used like large software like the Premiere Pros and so on and so forth, how much
Mm.
of processing power you need to need in your laptop. And today,
Yes.
because of cloud, we are able to run things on our mobile phone. We can render things on our mobile phone, right?
True.
Now, imagine AI becomes that in your premises you have AI running. That's going to change the game, right? So, of course, it was possible earlier with private clouds, but
Yes.
I think Google is taking a step further away. Now, that's one thing I noticed. The next
That's
thing, if you
crazy.
take, yeah, that's crazy, right? If we,
Yeah.
I'm rushing off because of the time limit we're having, at sea, but please stop me if you want to clarify anything and you want to ask any questions. Another crazy thing I saw was we all know the multimodal AIs that are out there, how audio, video, all these things are coming together, and people these days
Yes.
because of open AI, you see this different styles of images coming out and
Mm.
videos created. Now, yesterday, Google showed something crazy. They have products which they call the VO, the Chirp, the Lyria. I just wrote them down. And they have
Yeah.
something called the Vertex, I think, Media Studio or AI Studio.
Okay.
They have a demonstration done, Nazir, where the product head, he just comes in and he generates a drone shot of Las Vegas Boulevard just by uploading an image. He gets a
Whoa.
and these are pre-rendered, of course, but they said it's because of the caching time, but it was done
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
There was another clip that is showed where there was a guitar on stage generated, And
Yeah,
when it was generated, it generated a crew member at the back. So he just takes a paint tool, he selects the crew member, and he just says that and he re-renders it. It creates the video without that guy in the background. And ultimately, he
that's
just
crazy.
ran a whole video of a preparation at Las Vegas, a concert preparation, the band playing on stage, the audience, kind of cheering with music generated from AI. And that blew my mind.
Whoa.
So,
I mean,
it,
imagine the industries how they are going to change, right? The film industry, the media, music industry.
definitely,
It's crazy. It's
definitely, the
like
film industry, animation industry is going to be, really, really challenged in a good and bad way. Like there was another demonstration of they showed like, uh, let's say you're an animator and you have a character, face front, and then you draw the end of the video where the character is faced back further away. It generates the middle sequence of the person turning and walking. Right? So you can
right.
still use.
I have seen that video. Uh,
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
yeah, I have seen something similar. It's crazy. Yeah.
So you don't need to really spend, like, if you imagine like the stop motion animation industry, that's how animation really began, right? You draw each frame
Mm.
and you animate it. Now you just need to bring the characters, like the, like a big business talk about the brand colors and brand guidelines. You just bring the main characters, the tonality, the main imagery, and you can generate your animation, right? So
Mm.
this is where things are heading, and it's crazy. And they were showing about Google Workspace, which we used, right? How Google Docs, how Google Spreadsheets, they are making a change on that. How analysis is becoming further better, improved. So it's really changing the game. And the best part that I really loved was, and I've been talking about this, creating AI agents, and
Mm. Mm.
I think you also have been using some of Gemini used agents, Notebook LM, where you can upload a document and create an
Yes.
immediate podcast, right? Now,
Correct.
if you recall that, and even I've been sharing some videos like that on my platforms, created from Harvard research. It's so nice to listen because it's not boring anymore. It's just not a PDF reader because they put voice.
Mm.
In fact, you can even hear the hosts of those podcasts
Breathing.
breathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so realistic, and you even get the ers and the fillers like a general conversation,
Yeah.
right? So they've gone into so much of attention. They've brought Notebook LM. They have the agents of idea generation agent, which is available.
Mm.
There's deep research agent. I use that to find research tools already. So you can kind of say, for an example, you can say, I want to know more about the systems theory, the institutional theory. Can you generate uh, uh, a research article based on that? Not a research article, but can you do deep research? And it will go and list down all the research articles it could find. But unfortunately, it's not looking at inside private database information. It's all published information. So sometimes scores and the Emerald Insights and all, where you might not see it publicly, that information won't come, but still it gives a deep research information. So the best part is they've come up with what they call the multi-agent system, Asi. So today you can use
Mhm.
existing agents that Google has created, and you can create your own AI agent. Now the question is, what is this AI agent thing? I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask this. So best example I can give you is a chatbot, right? A
Mhm.
chatbot
Mhm.
is an agent because it's acting as a real person, and it's using whatever the information you trained on, and it's really having a conversation.
Mm.
I think our previous videos are, see, when we did A to I think we shared we are dead against AI agents or chatbot because of the robotic nature of it. And it was
Correct.
more like in the past, it was like what we call the IVR system, the interactive voice recognition systems, where you need to click, okay, this is what I want, and then it pops the question, then you click the next one
Correct.
and the question. So you don't really have a human element, right? Now
Yes.
for you to feel human, Aziz, if for you to feel a human communication, what exactly would you like a chatbot to do? I mean, how would you say, I'm ready to adopt this because it's more human? What would you expect? What are the elements you look at?
Yeah, for me, I'm more or less more towards emotional factor, yes, because my behaviors and my thinking, uh, when you measure it, the rational part of it and emotional part of it, I give more prominence to the emotional part of it. So I would, in my opinion, I would say the chatbot, if the chatbot can demonstrate certain emotions when we have that conversation, I would be more attractive to have rather continue that conversation.
And you mean text a text-based emotion conversation, right? Yeah.
Maybe text, maybe audio. Yeah.
Okay. So what, and I strongly recommend everyone who's listening, who's connected, to go and check this video out. Look at Google Cloud, the next 25. Probably there'll be shorter versions that'll be created soon. Look at the custom engagement suite part. And what they do is, Asi, so the product manager walks in with
Mhm.
a basket of flower pots, and he says like, I'm simulating a moment that I bought these flowers, and I want to find the right fertilizer. And what he says is, he goes into a website that has a kind of a chatbot, but
Yes.
it is voice activated, right? And he basically switches on and he says like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure, and it's a normal conversation, like you say, with emotion. So the bot goes in, or the agent goes in and talks and says, um, am I speaking to Patrick? And he says, yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay. I can see that you added two products to the shopping cart. Is there anything I could help you with? And he says, "Ac- actually, I do need some help because I picked a fertilizer and I picked something else. I can't remember another, maybe uh, soil." And he says, but I'm not sure whether this is the right product for the flowers I purchased. And imagine what the chatbot,
Yeah.
or the agent says. The agent says, okay, if you can give me permission and switch on your camera, I would like to see what you have purchased. And he
Okay.
brings this flower pot, he holds it to the
Uh-huh.
camera, and the agent says, oh, that's a lovely pot of petunia. And whilst what you have purchased would help, you would really, it will be better if you buy the blooming product we have, blooming fertilizer. And
Wow.
the product is showcased. And then he says, okay, go ahead. And then the voice goes on saying, would you like me to remove the other two products because it's going to replace it by this? And he says, yes, go ahead, right? And
Wow.
then like he's delighted, right? And he says like, okay, fine. Um and 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 the voice goes on asking, is there anything I can help you on? And he jokingly says, yeah, maybe if you can come and fix it for me, if you can plant it for me. And then it goes, it's funny that you mentioned it, we in fact have a landscape services, would you like to know more about it, right? And then he's like, oh really? So now there you see an upsell happening,
Sorry,
right? And
Yasas,
this,
I lost you.
okay, okay. So basically at that moment, he says like, it's great if you can come and plant the flowers for me. And this agent goes on saying, it's funny that you mentioned we have our landscape services. I don't know whether I lost you, Asli.
Yeah, in fact, I lost you, Yasas.
Okay, so it's a funny situation where he makes a joke, and then the chat agent says, "Okay, we, but that you mentioned it, we can promote our landscape services to you. Is that something you would like to know?" And he says yes, and then he asks the service, and then the agent goes into saying, for 40 petunias, that will cover about 4 hours of planting, and it's about $200. And he says like, "Okay, are you willing to do price match?" And the agent goes on saying, we generally don't, but in particular situations, we take it case by case, and he says, your competitor, this brand, actually offered a 50% discount. Is that something you can offer? Okay. And the agent says, I'm not allowed to give you a discount right away. Can you please wait a while
Yeah.
till I check with my manager? And then he goes to the next laptop and asks the manager, and you see the agent connecting and saying, Patrick wants a discount because this person has got 50% from the competitor. Am I allowed to do it? And then he goes and types, no, give a 20% discount. And then immediately it comes back on the other screen saying, thanks for waiting. I'm very happy to say we can give you a 20% discount. And he's like, okay, go ahead. So it was really a natural conversation. And the best part is, Asi, you don't need to train these agents. These agents are already built in. So
Mhm.
you can use the experience that has gone into these agents and integrate it into your product. Now, I think your screen is frozen, but I think you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. And you said it's funny that you mentioned the emotional part. So uh, at one point he asked like, is there anything I could help? And he says, no, I'm actually late. I need to go for pickleball. And at the end of the conversation, the AI agents finally says, okay, great. So thank you very much, and hope you enjoy your pickleball practice or tournament or whatever. So the whole audience starts laughing because the agent was able to pick up something from that conversation and put it back into the conversation. So it was fabulous. It was human like.
That's crazy. Like we have seen these kind of uh, videos, or maybe these kind of things through movies, right? And it's actually now we have come into an era where actually experiencing that.
Exactly. I think imagination is the real limitation today, I see, because with agent build or agentic AI or
Mhm.
being able to create AI agents is going to change the game. And you don't need to be a developer today. The way it's heading, things are very easy. There are a lot of low code, no code, or no code solutions. So you can build it. They had so many other examples. I'm not going to talk into it because the whole idea is to kind of educate our audience what is happening out there. And most of it is not really to replace people but to really use people in the best possible way, because even if you have this, they talked about more other applications, and how you can probably connect multiple data sources and ask for analysis and so on and so forth. So I mean, you know how we are using AI in our organization, right? And we are seeing better ways of doing things and how we can focus on doing what we really want to do, what we are really interested in. So I think I'm going to take back what I talked about chat agents after seeing this, because as long as we can bring the other languages like Sinhala and Tamil, I think will be there very soon. If we can
Yeah.
do that with Sinhala, I think Sri Lanka, having a 24/7 AI agent to handle your support is going to change your game. You can upsell, cross
Yeah.
sell, educate. Uh, I think someone who's on e-commerce or who's even in tech support to handle the level one support, it's brilliant. And I'm sure very soon it can mimic certain diagnosis, even probably with access go into levels of diagnosis and probably fixing even. And but that'll be the
Mm.
next level. But I'm sure very soon this will be happening. So the part we want to probably leave with our listeners and viewers is, go ahead, look at these videos, find out what is out there, because every organization will have boring, outdated, uh, redundant processes that we humans are doing. And you don't need to really spend time doing that, because, like we always discuss us in office, if you're seated in front of a computer and if you can do these things just in front of a computer, an AI agent can do that as well. So if you
Mm.
think you're not adding value to your business, your job, it's high time you speak, try out, work with your technical team, or maybe learn how you can probably automate part of it. Because if you remember in our tech sales program that we were talking, there are a lot of non-value addition activities that's happening, Azi, that an inside sales or a tech sales person probably is doing, like preparing directories, going into websites, extracting phone numbers and things like that, where you're spending a lot of time, right? Reading about the organization before you write an email. All these can be automated today. AI can be brought in to really help you in doing a better job. So I think that's the message we should keep today with our listeners and viewers. And
Yeah.
please keep following us. Send us messages, drop us text. Sorry we couldn't go through the comments because I had to rush out. I knew there's a lot more to talk because these are 2 hours session, Nasi, that I kind of cut down into the 25
Summarized it.
minutes that we
Yeah.
talked.
20 minutes.
Anything, anything you want to add, Nasi?
Well, in a way, yes, thank you so much for sharing that insightful information. And if you are a business leader, if you are a CEO or a founder or thought leader, um, it's this is the right time for you to open your mind, heart, and soul and spirit, everything towards the growth of your organization, and be very uh, flexible about the new technology rather than restricting it. I would say accept it, acknowledge it, and use it in a way where you can improve and enhance your organization while you are serving the community and your clients.
Definitely. So with that, Asi, I think we can end today's Yokoten session. And once again, thank you everyone who has connected. Please share this video. Probably in the description, we'll add the Google Cloud link so that they can have a look and anyone could click and go through that. I already saw there were certain summarized versions, but at least look at the agentic AI section and customer engagement suite, because those are some fascinating, and also the video part that I talked about. Those are some fascinating demonstrations. And with that, Asi, we'll end today's Yokoten session and we'll get back with another interesting session next week, 6:30 Sri Lanka time or 5 o'clock UAE time. I'm Yasas
And I must say,
and Asi signing off.